Hello, everyone. Today's verse of the day is part 5 of Luke 4:24 to 27. The first part, we talked about how the Lord may have called, but some people still didn't believe. We had an event there, and we talked about Elijah and the widow. The second part, we talked about how the Lord maybe called some people, yet the people still didn't believe. And so he went to another land and he talked to Naaman the Syrian. The third part, we talked about how the Lord called his own disciple, and yet he still didn't believe at first. And on the fourth part, we talked about how we may preach, yet people still don't believe. Is a servant greater than their master? On this fifth part, I'm talking about people who believe that they're black Jews in the Hebrew Israelite movement. This came about by looking at this verse, Luke 4:24 to 27. Though it's not particularly stuck on this verse, it came about by me looking at this verse. Truly I say to you, no prophet is acceptable in his hometown, but in truth I tell you, there were many widows in Israel in the days of Elijah, when the heavens were shut up 3 years and 6 months, and a great famine came over all the land. And Elijah was sent to none of them, but only to Zarephath, in the land of Sidon, to a woman who was a widow. And there were many lepers in Israel in the time of the prophet Elisha, and none of them was cleansed, but only Naaman the Syrian. The reason I'm talking about the Hebrew Israelite movement and things is because while doing this study, I wanted to get some background from one of my fellow believers, and then I found out that they are also part of the Hebrew Israelite movement, the people that think that they're black Jews. So I did some research. I looked up both sides of the coin, and Google provided the best explanation. Judaism diffused mainly through relocation diffusion during the Jewish diaspora. And this is what happened around 70 AD. The Roman Empire took over Israel in 73 AD, forcing the Jewish people out of their homeland into all Asia, Europe, and Africa. The Jews dispersed in every direction. So, does that mean that there are European Jews? Yes. Does that mean that there are Asian Jews? Yes. Does that mean that there are African Jews? Yes. They dispersed. But this Hebrew Israelite movement is trying to be more racially motivated, where the European Jews, they're not Jews at all. We're the Jews. God cares about us. He don't care about all his people that he created, all mankind. That's what the Hebrew Israelite movement has really become. As I see in Deuteronomy 28, it talks about the curse of those who do not follow him. And it does sound like what some of us black Americans have gone through their history. Deuteronomy 28:28. The Lord will strike you with madness and blindness and confusion of mind, and you shall grope at noonday as the blind grope in darkness, and you shall not prosper in your ways, and you shall only be oppressed and robbed continually, and there shall be no one to help you. You shall betroth a wife, but another man shall ravish her. Kind of like slavery, raping the women. That's why some of us are light-skinned. You shall build a house, but you shall not dwell in it. You shall plant a vineyard, but you shall not enjoy its fruit. Your ox shall be slaughtered before your eyes, but you shall not eat of it. Your donkey shall be seized before your face, but shall not be restored to you. Your sheep shall be given to your enemies, but there shall be no one to help you. Your sons and daughters shall be given to another people. Slave trade. While your eyes look on, and fail with longing for them all day long, but you shall be helpless. A nation that you have not known shall eat up the fruit of your ground and of all your labors, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed continually, so that you are driven mad by the sights that your eyes see. The Lord will strike you on the knees and on the legs with grievous boils, of which you cannot be healed from the sole of your foot to the crown of your head. The Lord will bring you and your king, whom you set over you, to a nation that neither you nor your fathers have known. That does sound like America, and it could be. And there you shall serve other gods of wood and stone, and you shall become a horror, a proverb, and a byword among all the people where the Lord will lead you away. You shall carry much seed into the field, and shall gather in little, for the locust shall consume it. You shall plant vineyards and dress them, but you shall neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worm shall eat it. You shall have the olive trees throughout all your territory, but you shall not anoint yourself with the oil, for the olives shall drop off. You shall father sons and daughters, but they shall not be yours, for they go into captivity. The cricket shall possess all your trees and the fruit of your ground. The sojourner who is among you shall rise higher and higher above you, and you shall come lower and lower. He shall lend to you, and you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. All these curses come upon you, and pursue you, and overtake you till you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of the Lord your God, to keep his commandments and his statutes that he commanded you. They shall be a sign and a wonder against you and your offspring forever, because you did not love the Lord your God with joyfulness and gladness of heart, because of the abundance of all things. Therefore you shall serve your enemies, whom the Lord will send against you in hunger and thirst, in nakedness and lacking everything. And he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. The Lord will bring a nation against you from far away, from the end of the earth, swooping down like an eagle. What's our national bird? I'm saying this, but what I'm saying is, yes, there could be black Jews. And I definitely believe there are black Jews, there are European Jews, there are Asian Jews. Okay? I believe that, yes, some of those black Jews are in America. Yes. Does that mean every black person that's in America was part of the Jews? No. Okay? Our bloodlines have gotten very mixed. A hard-faced nation who shall not respect the old or show mercy to the young. It shall eat the offspring of your cattle and the fruit of your ground until you are destroyed. It shall not leave you again wine or oil to increase the increase of your herbs or the young of your flock until they have caused you to perish. And it continues. It continues. So, mind you, even though I talk about these things that, yeah, it sounds very similar to the slave experience in America, Jews have suffered all around the world when they were dispersed. It was very hard. It was very hard. They did not have a homeland. European, Asian, they did not have a homeland. But I also remind you, because even though that prophecy seemed to have been coming true, think about how it also said it was a curse to those who fell away from the Lord's ways, how they adopted other gods and stuff in that. That was the curse for them. And you can tell in the African heritage, the African mindset, there is a lot of voodoo and witchcraft and other God worship mixed with that. And even those that say they're Christians still mix in with that. And I'm going to say that, I'm going to save that for later. But I also must remind you of how prophecy has also came true with the European Jews. Verses day 151 and 152 talk strongly on that. And I show a complete video, but let's talk about that. This is the blessing in Deuteronomy 28. that came before the curse. Verse 1. And if you faithfully obey the voice of the Lord your God, being careful to do all his commandments that I command you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you if you obey the voice of the Lord your God. Blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of your womb, and the fruit of your ground, and the fruit of your cattle, the increase of your herbs, and the young of your flock. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Now this talks about almost what has happened since the Jews have returned, the European Jews have returned to Israel with the agriculture. The land now flourishes. And I'm going to talk about this again. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall you be when you come in, and blessed shall you be when you go out. The Lord will cause your enemies who rise against you to be defeated before you. So this definitely shows this is prior to the 1,000-year rule of when Yeshua comes back for the second time, because they're still at some sort of war, right? They're still at some sort of war. There's still a war allowed. When the Lord comes back, our weapons are going to be turned into to farm things. We will not be fighting. We will not need swords and guns anymore. But the Lord will cause your enemies who rise against you to be defeated before you. They shall come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. The Lord will command the blessing on you in your barns, in all that you undertake, and he will bless you in the land that your God is giving you. And this is what's happened since 1947. And then the 6-Day War in 1967. The 6-Day War, if you look in Leviticus 26:7, it says, 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall chase 10,000, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. So I highlight 5 of you shall chase 100. Only roughly 5% of the Jews had casualties. Out of the battle, out of all the casualties, Jews only had 5% of those casualties. It was 4 to 6%. 5 in 100, that's 5%. 4 to 6%. It says there were 1,001. This source says there's 1,433 Israelites who died, and the nation surrounding them was 20,700. They flourished like this prophecy is talking about. They flourished in agriculture. Could they also be the Jews? I very think so. The Lord will establish you as a people holy to himself, as he has sworn to you, if you keep the commandments of the Lord your God and walk in his ways. And all the peoples of the earth shall see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of you. And the Lord will make you abound in prosperity, in the fruit of your womb, in the fruit of your livestock, in the fruit of your ground, within the land that the Lord swore to your fathers to give you. The Lord will open to you his good treasury, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in season, to bless all the works of your hands, and you shall lend to many nations, but shall not borrow. Again, verse a day, number 151 this time. It shows in Leviticus 26:5, your threshing shall last from the time of the grape harvest, and the grape harvest shall last to the time for sowing, and you shall eat your bread to the full and dwell in your land securely. Since 1947, that has happened. They were out of their land for 1,900 years. And they said before that, only 20% of the total land was arable. But now it tripled the territory used for farming, and its production also multiplied 16 times since then. It flourishes today. Look up verse a day 151 again to see how it has happened. And the Lord will make you the head and not the tail, and you shall only go up and not down if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God. And mind you, do they have Yeshua? No, they don't. The Lord is going to deal with the European Jews. The Jews will be dealt with those who had not accepted Yeshua. That is what the Bible is talking about. They were stiff-necked. They see the word, but they don't see it in its spirit and its truth. They are missing out the prophecy that Yeshua will come. And that is one of the reasons why that Luke 24:27 really talked to me about this, because these people missed out on their completion of the whole Old Testament. Yeshua, they missed out on it. And it saddens me. And the Lord will make you the head and not the tail, and you shall only go up and not go down if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you today, being careful to do them. And if you do not turn aside from any of the words that I command you today, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. Now I think about this. I also looked up this, because like I said, in end times, the Lord, after he raptures all the believers up, he is going to deal with the Jews specifically, those that have rejected him. And the Hebrew Israelites are so into saying that the black people in America are definitely the Jews. Well, we have not rejected Yeshua like that. We at least believe that Jesus is in fact God and that he is truly the fulfillment. Because if you look in this Pew Research Center that was doing a study in America, the blacks, 79% of them are all Christian. Despite how we act, despite what we do, 79% of us claim to be Christian. Does that sound like that the Lord needs to deal with us as far as unbelief that he has come to be the Messiah? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And perhaps if we were the Jews, some of us many of us, I don't know, that came to America, you heard all those bad things that could have happened in Deuteronomy against us. But what happened to the black slaves in America since they've been brought here? They accepted Christ and they used him. They were stronger in faith than any of us now. Because as the word says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the kingdom of earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in spirit, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall become sons of God. Sons of God. We are more than just a simple race. We are sons of God. Everyone has this possibility. Not just a Jew, but a Gentile. Everyone has this possibility. All of us that are human have a possibility to be sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So instead of us being worried about whether we're a Jew or not, we should be thankful. Instead of being worried about who says they're a Jew or not, we should be thankful that we are saved through Christ who died for us. And instead of our Jewishness, sometimes maybe we should be looking inward towards our culture, dealing with not so much our Jewishness, but our Christianness. The movie Black Panther came out not too long ago, and I saw so many people who claim to be believers eat this and swallow this live, hook, and sink. And it had so many voodoo ways and so many things. Watch this clip.
For the following video, I've seen some more of the person who made this videos, and I do not agree with everything that he shows, but this particular video on the Black Panther, he is spot on.
What if none of the culture that we're claiming to be a part of has anything to do with our true culture? Now, I know that Black Panther is nowhere close to the first perpetrators of this lie, but based on how the black community is acting, literally wearing dashikis to a movie premiere because it's about a black nation in Africa, just highlights just how mind-controlled we are and desperate for an identity, that we follow anyone or anything that seems to give us power and identity. Now, the reason I had to address this first is because of the bigger part of the problem with the movie and the acceptance of a lot of African culture. Away from the action and special effects in the movie, there was a big promotion of the culture of the Wakandans. This is one of the main undertones of the movie that must be understood. Remember, Coogler said they were making a film about what it means to be African. A big part of some African culture consists of paganism, the worship of many gods, and witchcraft. This was not ignored in this movie, but highlighted and emphasized. A majority of the first hour of the movie was surrounded by Wakandan culture. It displayed the practices of juju, which is simply a spiritual belief system incorporating objects such as amulets and spells used in religious practice as part of witchcraft in West Africa. This was done specifically when the king becomes Black Panther. There was ancestral worship, like when the king's mother, Ramonda, played by Angela Bassett, called upon the ancestors for their help bringing back her son.
I call upon the ancestors. I call upon past. I'm here with my son T'Challa. Heal him.
She even says she communed with her dead husband often.
Your father and I will talk about this day all the time. He is with us.
This is a known form of witchcraft in which many cultures, not just African, partake in. There's the animal and shape-shifting spirits that is the main part of the movie. Anytime the king transformed into the Black Panther, he would shapeshift into the panther. This again is a form of witchcraft. And there was also the necromancy, which is the practice of communicating with the dead, especially in order to predict the future. The Black Panther did this multiple times with speaking to his dead father about how he would rule as king and what he should do.
The time has come for you to come home and be reunited with me. You were wrong to abandon me. I chose my people. I cannot stay here with you. I cannot rest where he sits on the throne. He is a monster of our own making. I must take the mantle back. I must right these wrongs.
All these practices are specifically expressed against in Scripture, and when they are done by his children, it provokes the Lord to anger. This is specifically stated in Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 9 through 11, and 2 Chronicles chapter 33, when speaking about Manasseh. These practices are all a form of witchcraft. When the Black Panther position is challenged, he drinks something that can be compared to blood that removes the power of the Black Panther. When he becomes the Black Panther, he's actually being possessed by the Black Panther spirit, which to them is a gift. If you just do some basic research on Marvel Wiki, it gives background on everything Marvel. It brings clarity on the Black Panther. The potion that the Black Panther drinks to get the Black Panther power, the one Eric Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan, ordered to be burned, was called the heart-shaped herb. And according to Marvel, it was a gift from the Panther god, the deity they worshipped. What they don't say in the movie is that the Black Panther, King T'Challa, is actually the leader of the Black Panther cult. The Black Panther cult is the actual religion of the Wakandans. The Wakandans have ties to the ancient gods of Africa that were also worshipped in Egypt. They were claimed to be ancient beings who visited the earth millennia ago, very similar to what we know today as the Anunnaki. This is always the lie that is told, because it always goes back to Baal or Satan worship. This movie is full of witchcraft practices. It is a ploy of using the Black community's desire for a represented culture to push them into acceptance of black magic and witchcraft, pushing the lie that these practices are from our heritage and witchcraft should be accepted as normal. So we are now in a time where people are denouncing the Bible and belief in Christ and are doing the things that are explicitly spoken against. They are promoting darkness as light, and the masses, particularly Christians, are accepting it because so many are desperate to claim a culture. They take on rituals and culture that is actually demonic and satanic, but ignore it because it's put under the general label of African. They replace the God we serve through the mass marketing of a film that they have presented to us as a gift to bring out black strength, representation, and unity. It's ridiculous.
As you can see, even though we claim to be believers, we have a lot of pagan roots. That's what we need to be getting out. Not worried about who's a Jew. Let's be good Christians, because we are of a higher nation. We're sons of God when we accept Christ. Let's purge ourselves and repent. I see how Black Panther really got us, though. Black Panther got us because we did not feel like we were part of something. Hebrew Israeliteness catches us because we don't feel like we have a proud heritage. Black Panther gave us imaginary Wakanda heritage, and we bit into it because no one wants to say, yeah, my forefathers were slaves, and they gave me my freedom. That's why you'll take imaginary Wakanda culture where the technology of those black people are so strong. Right? You see how Satan can use something, a sensitive issue? But we need to remember we're of a higher nation than anything that's in this world. Who cares what our forefathers were and what has happened? We are now of a higher nation. John 15:9 says, if you were of the world would love you as its own. But because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. You're not of the world. You're of God's now. You're of God's now, right? So I'm going to play a video. This is a long talk. Tomorrow, I'm going to play a video of someone who talks about the Hebrew Israelites. And we will continue we're going to call this part 6 of this series tomorrow. Because I want your full, undivided attention. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord. Thank you for everything that you've done, and thank you for making us a people of a higher calling. You are so wonderful to us, Lord. In Yeshua's name, we pray. Amen. Goodbye.